Do you know someone who has spent their whole life trying to overcome bad habits, yet always ends up failing? There are people who attempt to beat addictions, like alcohol or drugs, or struggle with issues such as obesity and procrastination. But within days they fall right back into the same destructive patterns. Maybe you've met someone who announced they were finally going to lose weight. They began an extremely restrictive diet, eliminating everything they considered unhealthy. They started running and going to the gym daily. But after a few days, when stress hit and the challenge of balancing family, work, studies, and dieting became overwhelming, the entire effort collapsed. Soon, they were back to their old habits, sometimes even worse than before. This happens often, and maybe that person is you. But what if I told you there's a method that blends several philosophies I've discussed on this channel? A method capable of helping you overcome any bad habit, whether it's obesity, alcohol addiction, or chronic procrastination. The best part, it's incredibly simple. This system brings together concepts like Ikigai, Kaizen, Hara Hachibu, Wabi-Sabi, and Gambaru. But I have to warn you, it goes directly against what most productivity coaches preach about change. It contradicts the daily promises sold by motivational gurus. And it will require you to do something so small it will seem almost ridiculous. So small you'll doubt it works, until it does. Before I explain exactly how this system functions, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on which habit you most want to transform in your life. I receive many messages from people who have applied what we teach here and experienced genuine change, and I truly enjoy reading your feedback. In fact, the inspiration for this video came from a comment by a subscriber asking for help overcoming obesity. So I created this content with that focus. But what you're about to learn can be applied to any area of your life. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate every one of you who follows me here. Now, let's continue. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a man named Christopher. Christopher was 40 years old. He weighed 142 kilos and was slowly dying without even realizing it. He wasn't a bad person. For 15 years he worked as a stock manager in a warehouse. He woke up at 5:00 a.m. and returned home at 7:00 p.m. He had 2 children, a wife, and bills to pay. A typical lower middle class man who supports his family and forgets he has a body. He ate whatever he could fit into his schedule. Breakfast in the car, lunch at his desk, dinner in front of the television, because he was too exhausted to sit at the table with his family. Weekends meant pizza, beer, and the couch. He told himself he deserved it. After all, he worked like a mule. His body started sending warning signs, but he ignored them. Climbing stairs left him breathless. Tying his shoes turned into an engineering project. He had to sit down, hold his breath, and strain his stomach. When his kids asked him to play tag, he made excuses. When his wife suggested a walk in the park, he said he was too tired. But what hurt the most wasn't the number on the scale. It was the expression in his 7-year-old daughter's eyes when she stopped asking him to play. She had learned that her father didn't play, and Christopher saw it. He felt it. Yet he did nothing, because he had already tried to change before. 3 times he joined a gym and quit after 2 months. He followed a low-carb diet for 3 weeks before giving up. He went for morning runs for 5 days, and then stopped. He had reached that dangerous place where most people die without actually dying. The acceptance of defeat. That's just who I am. I've always been overweight. It's genetics. My metabolism is slow. I don't have time. Until the day his body said, enough. It was a Saturday morning. He was in the backyard with his 9-year-old son. Not really playing, just sitting in a plastic chair, watching the boy kick a ball alone. The ball flew into the neighbor's flower bed. "Dad, can you get it?" Christopher stood up, walked over, bent down to grab it, and couldn't stand back up. Not because he was injured. Not because he was in pain. He simply didn't have enough strength in his legs to lift his own body weight. There he was, on all fours in the neighbor's flower bed, sweating and struggling to rise, while his son watched silently. The neighbor had to help him up. It may sound absurd to you, but there are people who reach a point where they can't perform basic daily movements. That night, Christopher sat on the edge of his bed and cried. He cried because he was 40 years old and needed help to stand. He cried because his son had witnessed it. He cried because he realized he was creating a memory in that child's mind. "My father is weak." His wife walked in. She didn't say anything at first. She just hugged him. Then she said softly, "You need help, Chris. Real help." The next morning, he called the only friend he knew who had lost weight and kept it off. A man named Marcus, who had dropped 30 kilos and seemed transformed, not just thinner, but more complete. "Marcus, how did you do it? Did you see a doctor? Take medication?" Marcus paused. "I did see a doctor, but not the kind you're thinking of. He didn't give me medicine. He gave me philosophy. Philosophy doesn't make someone lose weight." "You're wrong," Marcus replied. The following Tuesday, Christopher found himself sitting in a minimalist consultation room. It didn't look like a typical clinic. No anatomy charts. No sterile hospital smell. Just a wooden table, 2 chairs, and a large window facing a garden. Dr. Tishi Yamamoto entered, around 65 years old, thin, upright posture, calm movements. He looked more like a monk than a physician. "Christopher, what brings you here?" Chris told him everything. The weight, the exhaustion, the shame, the children, the flower bed. When he finished, he expected talk of diets, exercise plans, blood tests. Instead, the doctor simply asked, "How many times have you tried to lose weight?" 3 or 4. "And how long did each attempt last?" 2 months at most. Usually just weeks. "Do you know why you failed?" Christopher began listing the usual excuses: lack of time, genetics, metabolism. The doctor gently raised his hand. "No. You failed because you tried to win a 40-year war in a 2-month battle. Your body took 40 years to reach this condition. Your habits were built over 40 years, and you believed you could undo that in weeks." Silence. "I'm going to propose something," Dr. Yamamoto continued. "A change so small it will seem pointless. So small you'll think I'm joking. Do you accept?" "I'll accept anything. Starting tomorrow, every morning when you wake up, before anything else, you will drink 1 glass of water. That's all." Christopher waited for the rest. It didn't come. Just a glass of water. Every day. For 2 weeks. Nothing more. You may continue eating pizza, drinking beer, watching television. Simply add the water. That won't make me lose 50 kilos. You're right. The doctor leaned forward. It won't, but it will prove you can keep a promise to yourself. And right now, that proof is more important than weight loss. Christopher left confused. $200 for instructions to drink water. But the phrase echoed in his mind, a promise to yourself. How many promises had he broken? That night he placed a glass of water beside his bed. At 500 a.m., when the alarm rang, he saw it. He drank it. Day 2, same thing. Day 3. By day 7, something shifted. He woke up before the alarm thinking, "Where's my water?" By day 14, he had done it without missing once. At the follow-up appointment, Dr. Yamamoto smiled. "You've just learned Kaizen. Continuous improvement through microscopic change. You didn't try to climb the mountain. You simply took one step." Then the doctor added the next step: keep drinking the water. And now serve yourself half the food you normally would. If still hungry after 20 minutes, you may have more, but start with half. This was the principle of Hara Hachibo: eat until 80% full. The first week was difficult, but in 3 weeks, he only went back for seconds twice. His body wasn't starving, it was conditioned. He lost 3 kilos, but more importantly, he gained direction. Then came movement, not the gym, not running. Each morning after drinking water, he would walk from his front door to the mailbox and back. 20 meters. It's not about exercise, the doctor explained. It's about remembering that your body was designed to move. On the 3rd day, his daughter joined him. She held his hand and talked about school. When they returned, she asked, "Can we do this every day?" By the 2nd month, he had lost 8 kilos. But the real change was in his eyes. There was light there again. When the doctor asked why he was doing this, Christopher finally understood. To see my children grow up, to walk my daughter down the aisle, to be present. That is your ikigai, the doctor said. Your reason for living. And everything changed. Because now he wasn't waking up for water. He was waking up for purpose. Months passed. He stumbled on holidays, overate at Thanksgiving, felt shame. But Dr. Yamamoto taught him wabi-sabi, the acceptance of imperfection. You didn't fail. You stumbled. There is a difference. And Gambaru, persevering even when it's difficult. By 6 months, he had lost 23 kilos. By 9 months, 35. By 18 months, 52 kilos. But the true transformation wasn't in the scale. It was in playing tag with his daughter, in walking after dinner with his wife, in getting up from the floor effortlessly after building Lego with his son. His identity shifted. He was no longer a man trying to lose weight. He was a man who takes care of himself. In the 12th month, medical tests showed normal blood pressure, improved cholesterol, balanced blood sugar. It wasn't the glass of water alone. It was 365 small choices compounded. Later, he applied Kaizen to his career and earned a promotion. He applied it to his marriage and rebuilt connection. His children watched him change. His son began exercising. His wife started meditating. Transformation isn't contagious. It gives permission. 2 years later, Christopher maintained 88 kilos. He still drinks water every morning, still walks, still eats moderately. When people ask how he did it, he answers with a question. What is the smallest change you can make today? Most laugh. Some try. The few who return understand. The lesson is simple. People fail not because they lack information, but because they attempt radical change too quickly. The brain resists drastic shifts, but it accepts microscopic adjustments. You don't need a 30-day transformation. You need decades of consistency. So I'll give you the same challenge Dr. Yamamoto gave Christopher. Choose one change, the smallest possible, so small it feels almost stupid. A glass of water, 5 push-ups, 1 minute of meditation, 1 page of a book. Do it every day for 2 weeks. Nothing else. When you reach day 14, you won't have transformed your body, but you will have proven you can keep a promise to yourself. And that proof is everything. Because once you trust yourself with a small promise, you can trust yourself with bigger ones. Time will pass regardless. In 5 years, will you still look in the mirror with shame? Or will you see someone who kept every promise they made? Ikigai gives you purpose. Kaizen gives you the method. Hara-Hachi-Bu gives you moderation. Wabi-Sabi gives you compassion. Gambaru gives you strength. You don't need them all today. You just need to begin. When you stumble, and you will, you don't quit. You rise again. Practice isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. If this message resonated with you, comment below with the smallest change you're starting tomorrow. Not the entire plan, just the first step. Write it down. Make it real. 2 weeks from now, come back and see if you kept your promise. You don't need perfection. You just need to start. Thank you for staying until the end. That alone shows commitment. See you in the next video. Be present, walk with honor, follow the path.